What's up, YouTube? I'm your host, Lawrence Youngblood, reporting from the city of New Orleans channel. Uh, Back at y'all once again with another reading from my memoir trilogy, Raised in Violence. Yeah, so today, uh, I'm gonna be giving y'all another snippet of a chapter of my book. Be reading from chapter 10 this time. You know, as I say, many of the chapters are long, some are short, but the ones that are long, I want to uh, take a snippet from it because it plays a vital part in I want to share with y'all, spiritual my spiritual journey, the impact that it has have on my life. And so, without further ado, I want to get to reading this snippet coming from book one, chapter 10, March 1988. This was another Saturday morning. My mom and sisters had gotten up bright and early to start their weekend off, ripping and running all over the city, doing typical women and girly stuff, which going to the beauty salon was first on their agenda. I didn't expect to see them until later, around 3 or 4 o'clock sometime. Before my mom left, she simply stated for me to clean the bathroom, which was my daily chore that I hardly did. Don't go outside until after 12 o'clock. Don't rip and run out of her house. And if I go off somewhere, to be sure to lock up her house. Plain and simple. However, I always had to go against the grain and disrespect authority by disobeying the order that was made. I didn't violate consciously all the time, though. I did a lot of things off impulse or reacted hyperactively without thinking. Whatever the case, though, I had to make shit worse for myself. As the saying goes, that's the only way hard-headed boy is going to learn, right? As Anthony headed out of the back door to get to his bike, I locked the door and then headed toward the front, grabbing my black mag wheel mongoose from by the hallway closet door. Then, once I wheeled my bike out onto the long wooden porch and locked the door with my key, I hopped on my bike and took off like a true BMX stuntman rolling down a few steps. I wheeled to the sidewalk and curb, then bunny hopped off the curb and into the street and shot up the street like the speed of light. Approaching the corner, I whipped the right onto Delaware Street, then popped the wheelie and started walking, pedaling with the front wheel off the ground. My bike. I love doing this, especially on a smooth surface. Depending on how long the smooth surface was, I could walk my bike for a very long time. Me and my homies would always challenge in this stunt to see who could do it the longest. The longest I ever walked my bike was 4 long blocks. That was a lot for someone as skinny and young as I was. I was even learning how to turn the corner while walking my bike. I was good. Many gave me props for doing how to act a fool on a BMX. As I dropped back down to 2 wheels, my vision was captured by my homie Troy turning the corner in his beloved mother's big blue Ford van. I was a bit stunned, knowing his mother's strictness and his mutinous attitude. I knew he more than likely done snuck off with her van. When my mom moved us back around here and I went hung out on Ville's block with her brother Unc, I learned about Troy charging 50 cents to come in the back room of his mom's house where his stepdad used for a weightlifting room and Troy used as a game room for his Nintendo. I didn't have my Nintendo then, and even though I admired Troy's hustle and was a video game fanatic, I wasn't about to allow him to hustle me when I could have gone over to my homie Smokey's or by my homies Troy, Tori, and Chris and Chippy from my grandma's block and play their Nintendo for free. Being slick though, I went over to his house anyway, only to check out his collection of game cartridges so we could swap when I got my Nintendo and game cartridges. He had many games which I was really impressed by him. At just 14 years old, he was up on his game and organized, real mature for his age. Ever since that day, me and Troy had been real jam. We really started hanging and bonding when I learned he was into many motorcycles and go-karts, and foremost, guns and hustling, doing petty crimes like simple burglaries. In fact, he and his closest homeboy, Easy, who lived 4 houses down from him, were the exact same cats who introduced me to the road of crime. Actually, it was it wasn't really crime to these dudes because they were wild, crazy ass young boys. It was more like a high octane adventure than anything to them. So naturally, I would follow suit. They and several other boys from the Drive Street block were my homies, dudes who embraced me brotherly since I was feeling my home wasn't. As Troy brought the van to a stop in the middle of the street, I stopped short by the open driver window of the van. "What's up, bro?" Troy said with that mischievous smile he always flaunted when he was up to his bad boy behavior. "Man, what you doing in Miss Margaret's van?" I said, a bit worried, knowing how his mother was serious about her van she used as a family vehicle and for her transportation service for small school kids. "What it look like? I'm driving this bitch," he said, a bit sporty, but with humor while grinning. I laughed. Troy was a real comedian. He kept you laughing, especially when he and Easy were together. "But no, man, I was washing it." "She know," he lied, knowing he took the van for a quick spin without her permission. But like every last one of us, he had a hard head. "Say, bro, let me see that Zelda," I said, referring to a Nintendo game cartridge. "All right, come get it," he said, slowly driving off. "I'ma come get it later," I said fast, then proceeded. I wanted to get by my Aunt Quinn and Quincy's house first. They recently moved 7 long blocks down from us on Louisiana, right across the neutral ground from the Magnolia Project. Along the way, I wanted to also see if my girlfriend's niece was outside so I could make up to her. I cursed her out when we were arguing about messy you say I say foolishness dealing with Misha and Patrice. We hadn't talked since then, which was 2 weeks ago. I really missed her. I turned left onto South Saratoga Street and started pumping faster. I zoomed up the block, passed over Fuller Street, and then made a swift right turn onto Amelia Street. I popped the wheelie, walked my bike, and then put it back down on 2 wheels. Seeing I was nearly an empty curbside plastic garbage can, I tapped my handbrakes a bit to slow down a bit. I whipped up near the garbage can, lifted my rear and side kicked it with my back wheel as the owner of the garbage can was just coming out of his front door. The 50-something-year-old man began cursing at me as I picked up speed and then bunny hopped onto the sidewalk, then again off of the corner and back into the street. I was pumping away. I looked back for a second, then thank God the man wasn't chasing me. As I was approaching the corner of South Liberty Street, I briefly listened and peeked for oncoming traffic on the two-way street. A car was coming to my right, but I didn't bother to stop or slow down because our timing was on point. I shot across as the car passed. Ever since my dad taught me how to ride a bike without training wheels on my 5th birthday, I've been acting a fool. Learning this skill, it was like giving a magician a wand to create magic. My BMX skills were of the likes of a young Evel Knievel, a true stuntman. Reaching the middle of the block, I intently planted my vision on Lanice's beloved mother's corner house and block ahead to see if she was in. in sight. There were some people and kids out in the middle of the block, but there wasn't any sign of Lanice. Hopefully, their front door will be open like it normally is, and I can look in to see if she's in the living room or nearby or not. Like Misha, who lived just around the block on Penniston Street, I met Lanice at Ville's birthday party in December of '86. Our encounter wasn't like me and Misha's though. The entire time at the party, I really didn't notice her until the party was ending and a lot of people started matching up and exchanging telephone numbers. This made Ville make a sweet remark toward me and Lanice, which caused us to lock eyes and sparks to fly. Even though I was feeling Lanice, I was still bitter because of Misha, who wasn't there that night. I was also fading away from Trina at the time. Denise was so love struck or infatuated, though. She took off timidly like a child to go hide and retain her composure in the bathroom. Shortly thereafter, I was told by a friend of hers to come to the kitchen to talk to her. Although me and Lanice was very attracted to each other, we didn't connect right away. This was because she thought we were kin through Ville, but that wasn't true. Ville's dear aunt was her godmother, and besides, I really didn't take her seriously anyway because I was growing up fast while she was still in the fifth grade at Crocker Elementary acting like a little girl. I'd also had issues with Trina and Patrice and battling my demons daily that prevented us from really connecting. I really liked Lanice though. She was a cute, fine Jerry curl headed, caramel skinned girl with Tweety Bird lips. I knew that there was something special about her within me. Ever since that night we first met, we would also acknowledge each other in a sweetheart fashion whenever we saw each other, which was often since she lived just 2 blocks from my grandmother's house. I'd also hang out with her brother Derek, who was jammed tight with my homies Cedric and Jerry at parties and DJs. She always seemed to pop up or be around like a round-the-way girl. Me and Elise finally connected at a party Ville had gave in summer of '87. We both was the same age. Actually, she was a month older than me. She was just behind 1 grade because of starting school late. We hit it all smooth though, which she had to matured a bit and gotten even more attractive. When she started her first year at Green Junior High, we really got closer then. We were sort of like inseparable. Other than the streets and my homies, she was another comfort zone or shelter I was able to escape to when I was depressed or stressing. She was a real tender love. And even though we would argue and get disgusted with each other at times, we always would make up. She was my baby, and I was hers too. Approaching the corner of LaSalle Street, I briefly listened and peeked for oncoming traffic on the one-way street. No traffic was coming, so I flew past the stop sign with my eyes on Lisa's mom's gray double shotgun house. I couldn't tell if the front door was open because of the precarious screen door. As I neared the door, I saw that the door was surprisingly closed for a change. I would have stopped if the door was open, but since it wasn't, I kept pumping up the block. Besides, I knew had I stopped and knocked, there was a big chance her teenage sister Shonda, who practically lived in the living room and I really didn't get along with, would have answered the door and got ugly with me, especially for knocking this time of the morning. As I was nearing the corner of Ferret Street, I saw my homeboy Jude from my grandma's block crossing the street. He saw me too and instantly stopped. Out of all my homies from my grandmother's block, I was tighter with Jude the most, even though we didn't hang out much. That was because he was the mama's good baby boy type. Although he admired me, he'd always say I was too crazy and wild for him. We'd always enjoy each other's company playing sports or video games or with his black Labrador retriever. When the daredevil of street spirit arose within me, though, he was quick to get nervous and out of dodge. Me and Quincy would always call him Big Pussycat. He was a real cool dude with a good heart, though. I loved that about him, and it was always great to see him. I bunny hopped onto the sidewalk and stopped dead on the corner in front of my tall but stocky homie. "What's up, bro?" Jude said, a bit jolly, then smiled. "What's up? You about to go to practice?" I said, referring to football he and Quincy and a few others from my grandmother's block played with Harrell Park in the 17th Ward. This was the corner their coach picked them up from in his Ford Bronco. At one point, I tried out for the team because I was real fast running, but I became disillusioned with sports, period, and quickly quit. "No." "Say, bro, that was your mini bike?" he asked, a bit stunned, referring to a mini Honda 50 motorcycle my homie Troy in black had stole. He and my other homies from my grandmother's block saw me on it when I came flying up the block doing 50 miles per hour 3 weeks ago. They were hollering excitingly for me to stop, but I kept on going. I would have stopped, but my grandmother had just stepped in the doorway of her big enclosed porch as I hit the block and immediately started hollering for me. "Lawrence, bring your ass here right now." She knew the mini motorcycle was stolen because she knew badass Black, aka OG Booby Black, and his family were real well. Of course, my mom got on me later on about riding the stolen property. That didn't stop me from riding though. I was addicted to the adrenaline I got when riding the machine. About a month after me and Troy became good friends, he let me try out his own mini bike and go-kart. I'd been itching to someday experience operating these kinds of machineries ever since my big homie Brad took me for a spin on his MB5 in the St. Thomas project. I didn't have a clue on how to operate these machines, but I knew whenever the time presented itself, I'd be open for the risk and handle it like a pro. Surely, I rode Troy's mini bike and drove his go-kart like I was well experienced. It was like the ultimate adrenaline rush. I really felt alive handling those big boy toys. No, that was for Black and my dog Troy. The police got it now. It was stolen. I said. "It was stolen," Jude said, stunned, wide-eyed. "Yeah, man, you crazy. This young blood gonna whip your ass," he said, chuckling, referring to my grandma. "Oh, man, I ain't worrying about my grandma. I'm about to get up elite anyway," I said, a bit boastful, referring to the popular scooters. Having an elite was like being a fly pimp with a new clean-ass Cadillac which seen Bam, who was into drug dealing and being flashy real heavy on his new Elite 50 scooter a few days ago. Nevertheless, my homie Pew's grandfather just bought him a canary yellow Honda Passport C70 scooter. I was determined to give me one, even if I had to steal it. "What, you gonna steal it?" you asked, knowing I was wild enough to do it. "No, man, I'ma buy it. I'll be slinging now," I lied, referring to drug dealing. Although I hadn't crossed that line yet, I knew eventually I would be selling drugs, which Troy and Easy were already playing around in that demonic realm and building relations with drug dealers and fiends. "For real?" Jude said, shocked yet amazed. "Yeah, man," I said, cool and a bit boastful, motioned to proceed by Quincy and not wanting to get into further details about my alleged drug dealing. I knew Jude would go on and on if I didn't push out now. "But you one crazy dude," he said, chuckling. "When you get your elite, come take me for a ride, bro." "All right," I said swiftly, rode off looking at Jude. I was so busy trying to flee my inquisitive homeboy, I wasn't even paying attention to what I had just done. It was like my mind went blank. Laugh now, cry later. Lawrence, watch out! Jude blurted out, followed by squealing tires and a prolonged vehicle horn sound which rang the alarm in my distorted mental that danger was present. I turned wide-eyed towards the alarming noise. My mind said doomed, but my reaction said jump. Boom! As I met the front end of a gold Chrysler Fifth Avenue driven by an elderly black man. My little featherweight body flew to the windshield, then bounced off, then hit the hood and bounced off again and slapped the smooth black two-way street hard. Everything went silent. I lay there in the middle of the street, Ferret Street, motionless. For a moment, I was unconscious, hearing and seeing nothing. But then I saw light and realized I was laying on my side on the ground with my right leg aching. I heard a car door slam shut, followed by talkative voices. I couldn't make out what was being said, though. Suddenly, Jude approached, real upset, yet compassionate. Oh, bruh, Lawrence, you all right? Don't die, bruh. I'm going to run and call your grandmother, bruh. Just hang on, bruh. I didn't hear or feel my homeboy's presence anymore, so I assumed he left to go alert my family, which if I could have stopped him, I surely would have. I knew my aunt's attitudes was going to be, his little badass and got himself in some shit again, whereas my grandma would be real upset and worried sick about me. I just laid there motionless. Surprisingly, though, I was ready to get up from there looking like some stray dog that just got hit and ran over by a car. I mean, even though it was a terrible accident, it didn't seem too serious to me. I wasn't dead or dying. At least I didn't think I was, or it felt like I was. I wasn't bleeding. My right leg hurted real bad, but I actually felt fine, or as though I had gotten hurt playing football. There was motivating and inspiring voices in my head encouraging me to get up. Get up. I was becoming real inspired by the voices. But actually it was the voice of the chubby little kid that lived next door to Misha on Penn Street that moved me. Whenever he saw me, he'd call me Superman due to seeing me jump from off the second floor of the Lawrence D. Crocker Elementary School building to a lawn surface a year ago. I guess there was truth to what they say about humans having supernatural power within us like superheroes. I'm alright, man. I'm alright. I said, rising to my left foot with my right leg crooked like a roach leg. No, no, young man, just lay down. The ambulance coming to bring you to the hospital, the old man said softly. The vibrations I felt from his voice, I knew he was sad and remorseful about this accident we created. His leg broke, said another man that was walking by and stopped to help as they ushered me back down to the ground into a weak, no mortal state. Just lay down, son. Everything gonna be all right. An elderly voice said. In the next instant, I heard and felt the scene slowly becoming filled with voices in the throng. I then heard the sounds of women, house slippers, Daniel Greens, flip-flopping and dragging, scraping the ground, closing in on me. A shade suddenly appeared, covering the sunlight from shining down on me. Somebody went called, your people, boy? Shonda asked sassily as she approached and stood over me. I immediately recognized the voice and tone. At first, I was surprised, but it quickly registered that she wasn't really concerned about me. She was just using my mishap to become the center of attention that she had to be. I slyly rolled my eyes upward and saw Shauna's big vulture's Millie Jackson-like mouth. Then saw she was in hot mama cut-off jean shorts and confirmed of her motives to steal the scene. Yeah, I said soft and slow, then resumed looking at the fire hydrant near at the corner. As I heard Shauna walk away, thoughts of where my bike was and will I be able to ride it again came to mind. I also began to hear and feel that there were a lot of people at the scene now. A lot of them were angry too. They were fretting and complaining about how long it was taking for the paramedics to arrive. I was well aware of this racism due to witnessing it many times, but yet I never thought I'd fall victim to it. This exact same crisis with the delay of paramedic assistance in black communities across America inspired one of my favorite rap groups, Public Enemy, to come out with a hit called 911 as a joke. Me and my dad loved that jam. Suddenly, my three aunts, Chrissy, Cheeky, and Big Cent, who was the oldest of the three, and my sister, name was named after, arrived. But before they could begin their rallying at me, and then the old man who hit me, the ambulance arrived with its siren and flashing lights flaring. As the siren stopped, I heard what appeared to be the voice of a drunkard yell out, "Sons of bitches, about fucking time. That damn boy could be dead by now, all that goddamn time y'all took," as others routed in agreement. Of course, the paramedics paid the harsh remarks and angry black folks in mind as they rushed to my aid. "Just relax, Tiger. Everything's going to be just fine," the white paramedic said as he and his white partner worked on me and prepared to load me up in their ambulance. I was hoping and praying they didn't cut me out of my shorts and briefs and have me naked in public like I always saw them do people. I knew there were a lot of girls on the scene and it would be very embarrassing to have my private parts exposed to the public, especially since I hadn't really manned up yet in that area. Fortunately, the paramedics didn't cut me out of my clothes. They gently stretched my legs out after analyzing they weren't broken, placed me in a neck brace and then onto a board and stretcher. After securing the stretcher, I heard Shonda say all loud and ghetto sassily to her niece, "Ain't that your boyfriend?" as the paramedics turned the stretcher and gave me view of the throne on the sidewalk. I couldn't determine if Lanice's response was sweet or sour, but she looked sad yet distant too. Regardless, though, it was great seeing her. After x-rays and careful examinations and a pain shot, I was back on my feet and being me again. From the damaged front end of the car, witnesses' statements, it was said that I was one lucky but strong little fellow to experience such an impact and dramatic accident without sustaining any severe injuries or wounds. It was truly amazing to a lot of people. My mom wasn't too thrilled about the accident and mysterious survival, though. First, I wasn't supposed to be out of the house yet. And second, she had to leave the Buttes alone where she was tracked down at. She didn't fuss or get on my case, surprisingly. She was just her normal, distant, and shallow self. I guess in her mind, I brought the situation on myself because had I listened, it never would have happened. But boys like me had to learn the hard way, right? Laugh now, cry later. Yeah, so that's the end of that snippet. Um, so without further ado, let's get into the visual docu of that particular snippet. And before y'all leave, make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe and share button, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope y'all enjoying yourself. And if any of y'all be interested in buying my book, go to lypublication.com and it's also available on amazon.com. So without further ado, let's get into the docu. Peace.